Scientific notation. This is a digital lesson. And the lesson starts with explaining what scientific notation is. It's a shorthand way to write very large or very small numbers. It's always a number between 1 and 10 multiplied by a power of 10. So for example, the distance of the sun from Earth, we write it this way. That way we can manage all of those numbers. Instead of writing 149 million, that we're just going to write it this way. Very small numbers, for example, the diameter of a human hair, we're going to write it this way instead of managing all of these numbers. Just makes it easier to deal with. Now, converting numbers to scientific notation, we're going to move the decimal point. So if we move the decimal point one place to the left, it's the same as dividing by 10. So to keep the values equivalent, we're going to divide by 10 here, multiply by 10 here. And we'll see on the next slide how that works. So 23 million would be the same as 2,300,000 times 10 to the first power, because we divided by 10 here and we multiplied by 10 here to keep it the same value. Each time we divide by 10, we're going to lose a 0. So dividing by 10, multiplying by another 10. Dividing, multiplying. And we're going to keep doing that until we get down to here so that there's one digit to the left of the decimal point. So 2 3/10 times 10 to the 7th. Students are going to be doing that on the next slide. So each time they divide by 10 here, they're going to multiply by a power of 10. So each time it's going to be one more power of 10, and they're just going to write in the exponents all the way down here. When they finally get down to a number with one digit to the left of the decimal point, they will have scientific notation, 4 8/10 times 10 to the 7th. On the next slide, they're going to be just filling in the left-hand side. So each time we're multiplying by a power of 10, and we're also dividing by 10. So each time they're going to fill in this number with one less 0. We're going to multiply by one more power of 10. And on the left, we're going to divide by a power of 10. So each time it'll be one less 0 until they finally get down here to 6 7/10 times 10 to the 7th power. Now to change a number to scientific notation, we're going to move the decimal point. Here we're going to move it to the left so that there's only one number to the left of the decimal point. So if we start at the end, on a whole number, our decimal point's always going to be at the end. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the left. So that would give us our exponent of 4. So 49,000 would be 4 9/10 times 10 to the 4th power. And on the next slide, students are going to be doing that. So they're going to be changing each of these numbers in standard form to scientific notation. So here we want a number with a decimal point right here between the 7 and the 8. And to find our power, we just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We move the decimal point 5 places, so it's going to be times 10 to the 5th power. And they're going to be doing that with all of the rest of these. Now here we have a number in scientific notation. We want to change it to standard form, so we're just going to move that decimal point back to the right 4 places because our exponent was 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that would give us a number of 15,000 in standard form. So students are going to do that on the next slide. They're going to be writing each number in standard form. They're going to move the decimal point, in this case, 7 places to the right. So they're just going to have to add zeros. So to the right of a decimal point, you can add as many zeros as you need to, and it doesn't change the number. So here, move the decimal point 5 places to the right, 4 places to the right, and so on. Now when we're looking at very small numbers, Moving a decimal point one place to the right is the same as multiplying by 10. This number is going to get larger every time you move that decimal point one place to the right. So to keep the values equivalent, you must also divide by 10 or multiply by 10 to a negative power. That's the same as dividing by 10. So they see that on the next slide. So here we have a very, very small number. We want to change it to scientific notation. So we're going to multiply by 10 on this side, divide by 10 on this side. And this is what it would look like. And on the next slide, students are going to be doing that. So here we multiply by 10, and to divide by 10 is just 10 to the negative 1 power. And each one of these will be one more power of 10. All the way down to the end, and we get our final number in scientific notation. Now on the next slide, students are going to be just changing the number on the left. So here we have divided by a power of 10, divided by 10 for each one of these, and we're going to multiply by 10. That means we're going to have one less zero. So here we have 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. Now if we multiply by 10, we're going to have 5 zeros. Next one, multiply by 10 again, we're going to have 4 zeros. And so on till we get our final answer. Now on slide 17, students are going to be writing each of these numbers in scientific notation. On slide 18, they have these numbers in scientific notation, very small numbers, and they're going to write the actual number in standard form. And they get a final challenge, a word problem on the final slide. So this is scientific notation, a digital lesson.